My name is Ari. We are in my living room in San Francisco. I'm going to be having a show here in a couple months, but right now we're going to walk in the back of my house to my studio and look at some photographs. Some of the photographs that I work on are panoramic photographs, and they're really tall or really wide. Some are 180 degrees or 360 degrees, and I try and capture the feeling of a space and make a dramatic composition using this unusual format. I take the pictures all over the place. I take them walking around the city here in San Francisco where I live, and I take them a lot when I'm traveling. I travel a lot. I have pictures from Japan, pictures from Europe. I was just on a trip to Israel and took some pictures there also. This one is from Milan, and I was in Europe traveling around France and Italy a couple of years ago, and I had one day only in Milan, but I was alone and I was able to really concentrate on taking lots of pictures because I was walking around alone all day. In this picture I was had actually my feet in the bottom of the picture, so I took them out in Photoshop, but this is actually looking straight down, and then you can see the ceiling looking straight up here, and then I was actually leaning back and taking a few pictures behind me and stitched them all together. So this is where I work on the panoramic photographs. They all start as a series of individual images, and I stitch them all together into one seamless image. So here there was about 8 images, and I stitched it all together into one long image. After I take the individual photographs and stitch them together, it takes a long time to clean up all the seams, because there'll always be small imperfections, and sometimes there's occasionally a really big imperfection. I need to slightly adjust some big visual elements and get them to line up better. And then once I go through this process, I become really familiar with the photograph and every little detail in it. And then I often will edit some of the details, remove a little cup that's sitting on the corner, or move a little light that's on the wall over a little bit, and change the composition slightly to make it more elegant. Here there's 2 bolts on the wall, and this one was actually further down the wall, but I felt like it interfered with the shape of his head because it was so close to his head. So of course if I when I shot it, I could have moved where I was standing or waited a split second longer for him to be further away, but as it was, I like how he's framed in the picture, and all I did is I took this little bolt that's on the wall and I moved it up about what would have been maybe 6 inches in real life, and then there's enough, it's just far enough away from his head that it creates a more elegant negative space around him. So this is my great aunt, Regine Kuckerman. She lives in Paris, and she's lived there for 40 years, I guess, and she was born in Poland. So she speaks Polish, and she speaks Czech, she speaks Yiddish, she speaks French, and she assures me that when she was learning French, her French teacher said that she speaks French better than the French people do. I don't speak any French, so when I go to visit her, I have to find a translator, and I have one friend in particular who is fluent in French. So I've gone to Paris a few times with him, and I've also visited a couple times with my mom. My mom speaks with Regine in Yiddish, and I've learned a bit about Regine's life, and I've had a chance to take lots of pictures of her apartment. She has a really interesting small apartment in the 12th, and I took this picture of her bathroom, and I've been working on a photographic essay, taking pictures of every little thing in her house. She has stacks of books and piles of tomatoes and all kinds of things laid out all over the place. It's a sort of a big mess, but lots of little colorful things, and there's an interesting wallpaper and lots of fun details, and I've taken hundreds of pictures of her apartment. And this panoramic photograph I'm going to be taking to Paris in a couple weeks. I'm going to be showing it in an exhibition there, and I hope to take her to see the exhibition